You know, sometimes you have the opportunity in life to meet somebody who's a real game changer. And you've heard from all these great people tonight about somebody who wants to teach the teachers and coach the coaches, inspire others, selflessly giving, a great family man, a wonderful, inspirational icon for all Canadians. His name's Dr. Jack Taunton. And we have the incredible honor tonight to hear from him, but only after we present to you, Jack, a few mementos. And first, I think you'll be really happy to know that for your wonderful wife, Cheryl, there is a great running outfit from Lady Sport. And I can't imagine that you'll be happier to know that Cheryl's being honored tonight as well. There's also a couple of other items. We've got Kettle Valley, one of our supporters, is here with a very large container for you to enjoy at your leisure. There is also Catalosity that has come in with something that we dearly all want you to have because we want to get you off your iPhone and onto a computer for a change, and that's coming to you this evening. And from the Canadian Health and Fitness Institute, the Lifetime Achievement Award. No one we can imagine deserves it more. It's a plaque engraved in your name, and we hope that you will remember us because we're so inspired by you. Dr. Jack Taunton.
Well, thank you. After that, so many of my friends. Thank you for this tremendous Lifetime Achievement Award. So humbling. Thank you, Mike, and your team that are here tonight to make this such a fantastic gala. I've been very lucky. My career started, as you heard, in sport and exercise medicine in a pandemic. 1953, I caught polio. I was in hospital for 8 months, and I had no organized sport until I was 15. Slowed up that year as I'd already got back into running, and I got hit by a preacher's wife in a hit and run, nasty ankle fracture, and I was in a cast for 32 weeks. But learned quickly from my therapists in both experiences, exercise is medicine. I then went crazy in sports. Charter student at SFU with Cheryl, my wife. Played football, soccer, and track. In the first graduating Canese class, then I did a master's in cardiac rehabilitation, the first in the country. And believe it or not, we used exercise because it was an awful lot different than the 3 months after you had a heart attack you had to spend into bed. And it was really satisfying to see some of those things that we studied way back with Eric Bannister in my master's that are now utilized in the rehabilitation. I was the first from kinesiology at SFU to be accepted to medicine in UBC. They really must have wondered, who is this guy that was running 90 miles a week trying to make the Olympic marathon? But somebody took sympathy on me, I guess. And during this time, I started the first road running club in Canada, Lionsgate. And then out of that, co-founded, because there was only 6 of us, co-founded the Seawall Race with 2 others. 2 of us started the Vancouver Marathon. And my wife and I, and then called upon, when the race got too big for the 2 of us, Doug and Diane Clement, my partner, the Sun Run, recognized as the best event for health and fitness in Canada, as our goal was for the elite and for the beginners. And thank you to Lynn, that you've already seen tonight, and I love Lynn. Lynn really took over our in-training program for the 3,000 to 4,000 a year that learn how to run a 10K, including 40 First Nations. With Doug, we founded the first integrated sports medicine center in Canada 41 years ago. Lucky to be selected as a team physician for 8 Olympics, CMO in Sydney, and then 4.5 years CMO with many of you out there that helped me and helped me be recognized as the best ever. You were the best ever. And that was the Paralympics and the Olympics itself. I was CMO in 2 Pan Am Games, went to 7, CMO in 2 World Student Games, and then more recently, the IOC decided they'd look after the Masters athletes and had the first World Masters Games here in Vancouver. I became president of CHASM, and that's the organization that looks after us crazy sports medicine doctors. Then president of the Sports Medicine Council of Canada, and out of that I started SportMed BC. I wanted Canada to follow what Australia had done, and that was to develop in Canberra the Australian Institute of Sport. It didn't happen, but we will make it happen. For sure, we will still have the elite, but much more important, the Canadian Health and Fitness Institute will prove that exercise really helps and is medicine. For the pandemic, especially with the second wave, it is so important, your exercise, for your immunity. For your heart, it decreases the incidence of heart attacks and blood pressure. For cancer, it decreases breast, colon, and prostate cancer. And this allows me to bring my legacy. I brought $1 million a couple years ago to UBC for my partner, Don McKenzie, and we started a cancer exercise program. And more recently, with another one of our board members, Silk Cresswell, I was able to raise another $1 million for people with chronic brain disorders. Parkinson's, MS, Alzheimer's, mood disorders, depression, anxiety, and those that are still suffering conditions from concussions. We use exercise, mindfulness, and music. Don't forget that we will also have programs for seniors and child development. Industry, you're involved. After starting the very first wellness program, believe it or not, for Burnaby and Delta Fire. I can't believe other companies didn't have a wellness program. And it's been very successful. In 2010, I had to raise $7.2 million. My first sponsor was LifeLab. My pitch was it's team building. Everybody will be involved. And that's how I fundraise. Thank you for these tremendous awards. And thank you for recognizing Cheryl, because I couldn't do anything without Cheryl. And remember, our goal is to have Canada the fittest nation for 2030. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Jack Taunton. Unbelievable. Thank you. There is no following that act. It's been simply an amazing night. So many phenomenal people come together with this group. A couple of quick thank yous. Number one, to my brothers who run the Mahoney's restaurants for decades now in Vancouver, constantly giving back to sports, community, education, arts over and over again. You set the benchmark very high. So way to go, guys. Couldn't be prouder. To the Mahoney's staff here tonight, doing a phenomenal job, as always, creating a guest experience in Vancouver, second to none. And to everybody here, supporting Jack, supporting the CHFI, what a fantastic evening. So without further ado, introduce my good friend, the founder of the CHFI, John Weston, for some closing remarks. Thanks, John.
Je veux remercier tout le monde pour la participation ce soir. 3 things contribute to the success of an event like tonight: broad participation, great presenters, and a third thing I'm going to come back to in just a second. But I want to thank all of those who made this special: the Governor General, our sponsors, Faskin's Lawyers, Catalosity, Alan McGavin, Physiotherapy, BU, and Catalosity. Thank you. I thank you for an amazing board. We have 35 directors and advisors and a gala production team, all volunteers, people who roll up their sleeves and selflessly give to this organization and through us to all Canadians. I want to thank all of those supporters, people out there who've been bidding on our auction items tonight and donating. It's really been very encouraging. I also want to thank Hubcast. Hubcast helped produce this evening. Fiona Forbes, TV host, just managed regimentally to make us do what we needed to do, but make us feel good while we were doing it. And you heard from Mike Mahoney. Talk about a community institution. This is one of the finest locations in one of the most beautiful cities where we stand this evening, but it's also one of the most welcoming Mahoney and Sons. So I want to especially thank our host for this evening, and Mike Mahoney. I mentioned it takes 3 things to make an evening like this successful: the participants and the presenters, the sponsors. And the third thing, and I know Dr. Jack would agree with this, it takes a vision to unify a country, a community. And we have that vision. It's to make Canada the fittest nation on earth by 2030. What does that mean? It means an ambitious road. We have to disrupt existing patterns of sedentary behavior, of diabetes, of cardiovascular disease. We have to change the road for mental illness. We have to get people out there active. And we're going to do it. We're going to make Canada the fittest nation on earth by 2030. And it will only happen if we partner with other kindred spirit organizations and with people like you. We welcome you to volunteer. We welcome you to profile us on your social media, and we're grateful for your financial contributions. Thank you, and I want to give one more shout out to our MC this evening, Scott Rintoul. Scott, you get to close us off. You've done a great job. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much, John. And like John said, and like Dr. Jack said as he detailed his story, it doesn't just take one person, it takes all of us to get everybody moving forward. And that's what we want to do with the lofty goal. It's 2030, it's 10 years away. We can be the fittest country on earth, physically, mentally, and spiritually. But it takes all of us. Thank you to all of you who contributed here tonight. Thanks to the team at Hubcast as well. It takes a lot of people to put this on. It takes all of us to move forward as a country. Thanks for your generosity. Be well, stay healthy, and let's be fit together.